Alright, welcome back, friends. So in my last video I stopped at menus, and if you remember, I was trying to decipher the spreadsheet for items, and after looking at it and realizing, okay, there's a lot of things going on in this table, or in this spreadsheet I should say, I decided to split it into three. So if you remember, I said something about not having duplicates. So as you can see, we have duplicates as far as like the category of whether the drink is hot or whether it's cold. We also have item size that is also duplicated multiple times. Another thing, obviously, is the item name is appearing more than once. And then there's also some items that only appear once, right? And that's a given. Like espresso, for example, is one shot. You only get one sandwich, things like that. And usually only comes in one size. Another thing that I notice also is how the SKU is created. So if you look at it, it says HDR, so it means hot drink. The name of the item, which is actually, if you look at each item that is duplicated, it repeats these three letters. And then anything that has a size has MD or LG at the end. So in my last video I showed you kind of like decision, so deciding on how you're going to split data into tables. And using the Design Decisions tab, we can lay out what we plan on creating entities for, and then any decisions we made to do that and the reason why. So in my prior video I said I was going to split out the sandwiches from the rest of the items, but I technically don't need to do that. It's still an item that is being sold. It will be a menu item, and there can be a way to search just for food items based on their SKU, right? Because sandwiches always begins with an S, and if I'm looking at any of these, S is not used in any of these middle letters in the SKU. So again, there's a way to search for it, so I'm just going to add all the items into one table. So that's what I decided here, was just to have a menu item, which includes drink and meal type. And that way it's obviously easier to track edit. So if they ever want, if the cafe ever wants to add a different item, say pastries, then we can do PAT for pastries. And then whether it's hot or cold, if there's different sizes, you know, because you could have mini cupcakes and regular size cupcakes, for example. Another thing I decided to do was pull out the menu item category, and this is for the small and large sizes, and kind of looking at the price variations between, say, you know, different sizes like this cappuccino. Yeah, there is a way to do calculation on the item price table. So that's one of the things that I did. If you look at menu item, so you have menu item, where I decide, okay, there's going to be a base price, and depending on the size, we can have some type of business rule built into the database that when they decide to print a menu here, it can calculate the menu price. So that's kind of my logic for that. And that's the thing. Like I said in one of my prior videos, you can change up your logic at any point right now. This is the planning stage. So when you're planning, you can change your mind, you can brainstorm, and really think about how you want this to actually look, okay? Another thing I discovered working with the shift data, the employees, we have the staff, and then we have shift, and then I think rotation, I'm guessing is a schedule from what I'm kind of gathering. And I'm not sure if I want to build this out because this is kind of siloed in this database. I thought, for example, maybe if the orders had the employee's name of who, you know, was at the register, then it would make sense to go ahead and add that. And I think for sake of simplicity, I'm not going to really focus on shift and staff. I did pull out that data and I did build it out a little bit, but I think, so yeah, I did shift, I did employee, I also did operation hours, because I don't know, I for the sake of simplicity, and I don't really want to get too far into building out a whole entire shop. But now this is something that you can definitely try to do. If I was going to combine employees with the actual shop data, I would actually add to the orders a column here that has who the staff rung up these orders. And that's actually how it would really happen in real life. You would have an employee assigned to the cash register with their own employee number, and they would be the ones, you know, keying in the orders and their actual name, or maybe their employee number or something. There would be some indication of who rang up the order. But for sake of simplicity of this project, I'm going to ignore staff and shift in the schedule. But that's something that, again, you can definitely plan into your database, or in this dictionary. I did kind of plan it out, but after looking at it, I decided, you know, I'm not going to go that route right now. Alright, and I did also build out the order item link and recipe. I kind of wanted to talk about the order item link. Let's go to order real quick. I know I had said that there isn't supposed to be duplication, which there isn't for entities. But if you have links, which are totally different, you can have duplication. And it's duplication of the keys, because it's kind of like a lookup table. So if we look at order here, oh, this is the wrong one. Look for the shop of orders. So if you look at the order key, you notice that there's some orders that just have one item. That's pretty typical. Some people just order just a coffee, you know, or just a sandwich or a donut. But then you have these that have two items. And in order to handle that kind of duplication, it's best to actually pull out the order ID and the item ID and put them in their own separate table. So that also that keeps one thing separate. And if we look at our order, so we look at orders. So this is just one order. So there'd be one order ID, the order number, a date, and the customer's name, and whether it is to go or not. And then the link, the order link, would actually link orders to the items. Actually, I probably should add that in there, so it's pretty clear that it's two things. So let's see, I did order link. So in here, I would do orders slash items. And then done. And then we'll fix these ones here because now these are invalid. So let's scroll down. So it's clear that it's looking at two different things. So And I forgot to add, so we have the order link ID, and oops, that's what I need to do. So this physical key is just for the order link table. What I need to bring in is the order ID from the order table down into here and make this a logic key, because it's going to be referencing this table. And we'll do that. And then we will say that this was originally, we can do order ID even from the original. Actually, we'll just leave it blank because this is originally blank. So it's going to be actually, the order link table is going to be actually referencing the order ID that we will create in the actual database. And then this will be able to allow us to create queries against the order link table and the order table, as well as the item table. So the menu item table up here. Yeah, because see, there's items, so it's actually going to be linking these things that they ordered. I hope that makes sense. But there is one link table, but I also have a recipe item link table as well. And that is because if we look at the recipe table, you see we have the recipe ID, which is based off of the SKU, which is going to be calculated, but it's also bringing in ingredients. So we want to be able to link between the item, the menu item, and the ingredient table here. Again, to keep them separate. Well, actually, to make it really clear that recipes is a link table. It's not its own entity because it relies so much on everything else. Yeah, really the only field that is unique to recipe is the quantity of the ingredient. So yeah, so it would be a link table. Okay. So I have to do the mental math in my head. Okay, all right. If this has helped you at all, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe, and again, sign up for the free email course. All right, friends, till next time.